Hey, we are live.
Hi.
How you doing tonight? What's new in your world?
Let's see.
Tonight, Ashley and I are going to share quotes with you, or some of our favorite quotes.
You know, I had this thought earlier today about a couple of quotes that just completely knocked me off my chair.
Knocked you off your chair.
Maybe not literally.
Is it the thought I heard earlier?
But it was. I remember being so impacted by a quote, and sometimes it's just a matter of when you hear it or just how to apply it. You immediately apply it to your life, and you're like, So anyway, I thought I'd share some of those and invite you to share some quotes that have been really powerful to you, to maybe just put you in action on something, or made you realize you needed to stop doing something. So yeah, I thought that'd be an interesting topic.
Okay. I'm going to start with one, because the one I'm going to start with has an overreaching above many, many other things.
Tell me.
And this comes from our mentor, friend, guru, Grant Cardone.
I think I know which one.
It's your duty, obligation, and responsibility to be successful in life. Think about that. I'll repeat it. It's your duty, obligation, responsibility to be successful in life.
Yeah, it is.
What does that mean? We were talking about this with somebody the other day. Who were we talking this about? Anyway.
I don't remember who it was, but I mean, it does. At first, it kind of sounds like,
You're a human being.
Why?
We're a creature on this earth. And for many, many generations, for hundreds of millions of years, creatures have evolved to be better species, better creatures, better whatever. To evolve. And it's our job. Evolution doesn't happen like a straight line, a quick shot. It goes slowly. It's
incremental.
I mean, just in our lifetime, we go back 20, 25 years ago, this thing called the internet that allows us to do what we're doing, the World Wide Web, was not around.
Or at least not nearly in the form that it is.
It has transformed the world, and it's because of forward-thinking people that did this. Even as we
risk takers,
as we approach the end of this disease that's ravaged the world, so many changes have taken place.
Yeah.
On demand delivery for your food, for your whatever it is.
Right.
You need a pair of sneakers. If you live in a major metropolitan area, you order them in the morning and they're there in the afternoon. I mean, this is all.
Well, I mean, and you can say that COVID and the situation or the circumstances because of COVID have actually put a lot of businesses into kind of hyperdrive mode, like being creative, ways that we didn't think that we would, adoption of using a technology like the internet to have groceries delivered. Like, there were a lot of people who were like, I don't need that. And then they were like, oh, this is handy.
I don't catch a disease. I can't
right?
go someplace. I don't touch anybody. I don't talk to anybody.
People who were in a position to spend a lot of money improving their houses that may not have done that to begin with, because they knew they were going to be spending so much more time there. So
anyway, a lot of evolution's coming around. So, Ash, what's one of your favorite quotes?
This was the one that almost knocked me off my chair. We were actually in the middle of a conference, and this was years ago, and I was in the middle of a difficult divorce. And I think during my divorce, I kept thinking, how could I have prevented this, or should I be doing this? There was always this self-doubt. And someone at my conference, and they were talking about something completely different than divorce, but she said, the behavior you tolerate becomes your standard. And I was like, oh my gosh. And what I realized was that I had been tolerating the behavior of my ex-husband up until the moment that I wasn't. But I realized, wow, I really lowered the bar for myself, and then I was like, oh, well, this is why I'm doing this. But I also thought about that quote recently about myself, putting our 2022 goals together, talking about what we're going to do in terms of fitness, in terms of our health, our diet, my diet. And I thought, that came up for me again. The behavior I tolerate becomes my standard. And I was just like, wow, you know what? No more excuses. No.
That plays really well with your family.
Yeah.
Your kids, your parents.
Yes.
You're
raising the kids, making sure that they're, pushing or doing what they're supposed to
Comes
do.
really play in for teachers with students, and for employees. If you have employees,
which was actually the reason why I was talking about in the conference that I was at.
If you have employees and they're doing actions that are not have a desirable outcome
if
for
they're
your
not
company,
where they're supposed to be, if they're below your standard, but if you're tolerating it, guess what? That means you lowered your standard.
And everybody in the organization will go to that standard.
Exactly.
Or will rise or fall to that standard.
Exactly. Whether they're achieving that standard or they see somebody else who's lower than that standard, guess what? The bar just got lower for everybody. So the behavior you tolerate becomes your standard.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're on here, let us know or put in that comment a quote.
Some of your favorite quotes.
A quote that's been powerful for you. Go ahead and mention another one.
So I'll give you one of mine. I call it Gusism. I've been collecting these. I've been collecting these over the years. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. Yeah. If you're not, goes back to the first quote I had. If you're not being your best you, sort of say, you're moving backwards.
Well, and I think what's interesting about that quote, from what the way that you've said it before, is that it's like you can't stand. There's no standing still.
There's no standing still.
If you're not moving forward,
you're losing ground.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, it'd be real easy for think of somebody who's very famous. Think of Kim Kardashian, and she keeps doing these crazy things, but she also has a ton of money, and she just bank that money, make 10% on it, and make more money than most people in the entire world have ever made in the entire history of mankind. But if she stops doing what she does, she no longer is herself.
She stops being.
She stops being who she is.
Right.
So you start moving back.
So yeah. So anytime you're around somebody who you think, well, haven't you achieved enough? Haven't you met? Haven't you done? Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
Go away from that person. You don't want to hang out with them or limit your amount of time with them, because the key is it's not necessarily like I'm here to achieve a goal. It's that goal keeps moving and I'm chasing it, and that's who I am, and that's okay, right? Yeah. So keep moving forward.
All right.
So
do you have another quote?
I do. There's one that another one of our mentors has mentioned this before. That the quality of your answer depends on the quality of your question. Did I say that right?
Big one.
Okay. Sort of?
Okay. The other way to say it is the quality, he said multiple times in multiple different ways, the quality of your question will determine the quality of your answer.
So that's Brandon Dawson, who
think about that.
Is another mentor of ours, but it's so easy to just kind of off the shelf, quick ask a question. But if you stop to really think about it and think about all of the ways that, the dots connect, you can ask a much more informed question that will bring you a much more informed,
higher quality
answer if your question is higher quality. So
a perfect quote would be, if you work in a deli, or a perfect question would be,
how thick is that?
Well, if you work in a deli and you said, and the manager says, how much meat do we have left? And what he's thinking about, the manager might be thinking like, man, we're almost out of ham, we're almost out of London broil, we're almost out of cheese.
Right. Do we need to restock anything?
The better question would be, is it possible for you to tell me the quantities of ham, cheese, salami? How many rolls do we have? That answer is going to come back a lot better than, oh, we got plenty. We got enough.
Right. Well, that's it. And you don't necessarily know. I mean, as an employee, and I've been, I've definitely been on this end. I didn't stop to think why the boss was asking the question. I just answered the question as best as I thought I should, not realizing that if I had asked, hey, is it because you need to reorder, or hey, is it because, or are you, what are you really asking for? So I probably gave bad
advice.
I probably gave bad answers because
it wasn't your fault. You got bad questions.
Well, that's it. I got the question that I got, and
that's
I was like, okay, I'm eager to please the boss and just answer the question as accurately.
Here's one that happens all the time.
Yeah.
So what are you doing Saturday? Oh, yeah. So somebody's asking you, what are you doing Saturday?
Going for a run.
Maybe they're asking you, would you like to do something else? I have 2 tickets to whatever game, concert, something. If you're available, would you like to attend with me?
I'd love to.
That's a better
Are you
question.
asking me on a
Yes.
date?
You ask you out on a date. I don't have to say anything, but I'll ask you out on a date. We'll do something Saturday.
Okay.
Well, I got an idea for Saturday. Yes,
Yeah.
we can do
Oh,
something
good.
Saturday.
Good. Yeah.
Anyway,
Excited about
do we
that.
have more? Do you have another quote, or you want me to give a quote?
There's a quote that you've given in the past that I thought of while we were writing these down. And that is, if you are not suing someone or being sued, you're probably not pushing the envelope hard enough or playing big enough. So
when I let that sink in, it's one of my
now,
quotes. I've been saying it for
probably
years.
told me this quote when I was getting served some papers for a lawsuit, and I was like, yeah, I don't think that's funny.
It's not meant to be funny. The bottom line is,
I don't want to be
you're changing things, and people don't like change. And we have all these laws written about, change or stepping on people's toes or not playing the game fair. Well, life, and I don't look at it this way, but the reality is life's not fair. There are things, and people are going to do things to change the game. And
some people just don't like
people
it.
don't like it.
People don't like being uncomfortable. People don't like, and it's
someone's going to try to steal
your.
your idea. Someone's going to try to steal customers. Someone's going to try to
Or they're just
renege on a contract.
Or they're going to think that something that you're doing is unfair, so they'll
unfair, illegal.
Sometimes it's just a matter of trying to hang you up and keep you busy to throw a lawsuit your way, and all of a sudden you're intimidated or try to scare you into paying up or whatever.
I've been involved in dozens of lawsuits over my business career, and they all were way less. They were way more benign than they appear to be on the upside. Even when I had to go after people,
when you first get it's really like,
what happened? I can't believe this happened to me. What are we gonna do? That's my heritage coming out. But anyway, I get a little up in the air about this shit. Anyway, but the reality is, it's never as bad as it seems. And
I think that's that moment too where you take stock. Like, okay, I'm healthy. The kids are healthy. We're fine. We've got a roof over our heads. Like in the scheme of things,
you take the 10 most powerful people in the universe right now, and I guarantee you there's between 100 and 1,000 lawsuits in that mix right now.
Probably.
And there's a reason for it.
So I guess our
Yes.
goal is to make so much money that we can have somebody else manage that stuff if we need to.
Absolutely.
But
anyway, on that note, I think we're going to roll off for tonight. Have a good evening, and we'll see you soon. Have a great night.
Cheers.